The 7 lights are spoken of in Revelations 1:20. The mystery of the 7 stars which thou sawest in my right hand, positive polarity, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the angels, space people, of the 7 churches, 7 levels of life around the earth, and the 7 candlesticks which thou sawest are the 7 churches. The population of this level of life on the earth is composed of people from the other 6 levels. Chapter 2 and 3 of Revelation tells which of the levels you are from. One of these 7 church descriptions fits every mortal in this level. The population of Sanchia is given in Revelations 5:11. The dog, can you go out, dog? Go, go, go. The population of Sanchia is given in Revelations 5:11. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels around the throne, and the beast, and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands. And now for God's words. I am the voice, O mortal man, that whispers in the silence of your being. I am the motion instilled within the fluid dust of the body, to encase you in this density of 3. I am the softness that all babes know when nestled to the breast of me. I am the hardness of the substance many times beyond the density that mortals know. I am the sun that warms the morn and scorches brow, for thou must know within the being of me is thee, and search though you may do for eons yet to come. I am not there where you may go. I am within you giving life to clay, that my motion may be manifest for purposes misunderstood by man. I am not the formula of many, nor of one. My combination varies with each speck of dust, with each drop of rain, with each thought, each individual pain and hope. For I am always surrounding thee, and thee in me but makes the journey short. Look not afar, look where you are. Eternity is now. O man, you need not chart a roadway through the stars to me. You need not cross the land or search beyond the sea. You will find me in the smell, in the look of someone you have helped along the way. You only have to search your heart and start to find that I am there wherever you may be. Though all the roads may lead to me, though many search eternally to find a shortcut in the way, I am there and here as close as you to me. So reach not for a star afar. Search not in the distance, in the future or the past. At last you are aware that I am there within your being, watching how you treat the me in others of my parts. Oh, I love that. That was good. Chapter 8. The Great Pyramid. Pyr means fire. Mid, the equal distance between the extremes. Pyramid, fire or positive light substance in the middle of Giza, Egypt, is the only existent structure on the earth that remains intact after 25,816 years. It is the greatest power plant ever built on this planet. At the time of its use, it could furnish more power than the generators at Niagara Falls could produce in 1,000 years. The Great Pyramid was never intended to be a tomb or a monument for the pharaohs. Neither was it built by the Egyptians or Hyksos, as assumed by historians. It was erected by a remnant of the Adamic race on this planet. In order to produce the power required, the pyramid was built in minute conformity to the measurements of our solar system. All dimensions were accurately computed to ensure correct functional operation. The pyramid was designed by Enoch and built by Ptolemy, with the help of the true descendants of the Adamic race, the space people, who had made a forced landing on Earth. Knowing the universal laws and their application, they received timely warning and journeyed to Egypt before the sinking of the great continent Atlantis. Enoch and Tholma flying in an aircraft called Valix. After landing in Egypt 25,825 years ago, they started the operations and spent the next 9 years in building the Great Pyramid. Utilizing knowledge gleaned from their secret records, they employed the infinite light powers. They knew how to manipulate the light lines of force, to cut the blocks with light energy from the A positive and B negative lines of force. They transported the heavy blocks with their valix. Hovering over each block, they encompassed it in their force field, eliminating the weight of the block in relation to the earth. The blocks shaped so as to assure astronomical precision, correspond to and contain all pertinent data of our Earth and solar system. These correct dimensions were necessary in creating a positive solar vortex on a small scale from the A positive and B negative lines of light force. The Great Pyramid was erected at its present location for several reasons. Its location was on the side of the negative polarity from the equator. The 30 degrees latitude was the maximum vortex belt on each side of the equator. It was lateral through the Earth to the positive pole of the planet's core. It was centrally located on the Earth's landmass, which was its nearest maximum point of negative polarity. It was opposite to the Earth's largest mass of water, which served as a reflector. The weight of the pyramid had to be tremendous in order to prevent its twisting out of shape or rotating on its base. The controversial capstone and a few courses of blocks were left off intentionally, as experiments proved they were not needed. And here is another chart showing the world's greatest power plant. And this is the pyramid. There's the king chamber, queen chamber, and the positive solar vortex. And some words under it read this. B, lines of force. They transported the heavy blocks with their valix, a Model T version of the spacecraft now in our atmosphere. Hovering over each block, they encompassed it in their force field, eliminating the weight of the block in relation to the Earth. The block shaped so in completeness as to assure astronomical precision, correspond to and contain all pertinent data of our Earth and solar system. And then it reads on, but it doesn't show it all. B, lines of force. They transported the heavy blocks with their valix, a Model T version of the spacecraft now in our atmosphere. And this is those words that was in it. Hovering over each block, they encompassed it in their force field, eliminating the weight of the block in relation to the Earth. The block shaped so in completeness as to assure astronomical precision, correspond to and contain all pertinent data of our Earth and solar system. These correct dimensions were necessary in creating a positive solar vortex on a small scale from the A and B lines, A plus and B minus lines of light force. As the Earth rotated, each revolution brought the pyramid into a cycle of A positive and B negative lines of force. This caused an increase in the vortex shaft of positive force, the principle of the cyclotron. Thus, after a period of days, the vortex reached and held its maximum force. All this planning and work, astronomy, mathematics, and engineering, was recorded symbolically in the stones as the work progressed. Jesus knew this by intuition and journeyed to Egypt to refresh his memory from the stone records erected by his people. In building this power plant of astounding dimensions, their chief concern was the safe return to their own people. Being endowed with true perception, they visioned the coming cataclysms of the planet and planned an exodus. When the time of departure arrived, they entered the king's chamber in the pyramid and charged themselves in the super-light force vortex. Then they boarded their ships, hovering for a while over the truncated top of the pyramid in the positive shaft of force, which extended beyond the gravity range of the planet. When the ships were properly charged, they were actually repelled from the planet and navigated with super speed to their destination. Some of the sons of God, the Adamic race, who remained on this planet, knew of and used the stored-up power of the pyramid for several thousand years. For instance, Methuselah and his sons prolonged their lifespans for hundreds of years by charging their bodies in the vortex. Many of the deceased pharaohs placed in the open tomb in the king's chamber for regeneration were restored to life. Those who did not revive were left there for a period of 28 days, during which time the mummification took place. However, as the earth moved in the precession of the equinox, the regenerative and rejuvenating powers embodied in the pyramid were lost. Rulers around the earth, knowing of the rejuvenating powers of the pyramid, tried to duplicate the Great Pyramid of Giza by building a pyramid of their own, by manual labor, in order to live longer themselves. They did not fully know the principles of primary energy, however, so their pyramids became their tombs. Nevertheless, the secrets are not completely lost. Humans, knowing they are alive now, and not knowing what lies beyond the transition called death, attempt by every means possible to keep their physical bodies alive. The inner mind keeps transmitting the faint hope to their understanding that they can live forever. Naturally, knowing that they possess a physical vehicle now, they are reluctant to part with the old model to which they have become accustomed. Monkey glands, hormones, operations, injections, etc. have been advanced by the technicians in biological and medical science to try to prolong the life of the physical body. People assume that substance of a physical or chemical nature can support substances of like physical nature. This is based on the theory that if you keep adding dirt to a hill, that erosion is constantly dispersing, it will always be a hill. Nature always wins a battle in the long run because natural forces are eternal. Man's efforts to overcome nature by opposing it will lose every time. The only means by which man can add years to the physical is by going with the natural, eternal forces. Life is eternally continuous. Humans have placed the limits of... I think I typed that wrong. Humans have placed the limit of was, are, and will be on life. These divisions of time are from the physical brain. The flesh we call the brain only understands now. It only exists in the physical body for now. It cannot understand anything beyond its own limits of birth and death. All physical substance changes in time. It is understandable when one has spent his years in building up associations, friends, and family, why he wishes to remain here longer. His brain concept of the physical body does not want to give up its encasing form. The biggest trouble on this planet is that when you get smart enough to do something with the knowledge you have acquired here, death intervenes. Our lifespan is just too short. In Genesis chapter 5 it tells of Seth, Enos, Jared, Methuselah, and others living for hundreds of years. They were so close to the knowledge of their ancestors, of the Adamic colony on earth, that they used the fountain of youth principles to add to their lifespan. Rejuvenation is done with the infinite light, or what is called God power. In the application of this power, the one receiving it does not see, feel, taste, smell, or hear anything. I have the information to make rejuvenation possible. adding 50 to 80 years onto the average lifespan, plus resumption of youthful vitality.